Hey guys, welcome back to Surreal Beauty by Tiffany, where we talk books, blogs, and fashion. So I'm so excited to talk about today's topic. And before we get into it, I just wanted to start off by saying that I'm opening my store tomorrow, Surreal Beauty by Tiffany, and I'll be selling my latest, The Birth of Treasure, which I actually talked about in a couple videos prior. So if you can just like kind of backtrack and check out my videos. I also have some blogs and things like that that will be available on my website once it's open. So yes, definitely be sure to check that out. I also have it on Amazon available, and the link is below in the description, so you can also get your copy there. But you can also wait till tomorrow when I open. Also, I just finished my How to Be a Rich Bitch book. It's an ebook, and again, as I stated before, I thought that an ebook version of a book is something that I feel like was convenient. Because like once you order it, you can literally you have the link, you can download it and have it right available access to it immediately versus having to wait for the actual book to come. So I'm so excited because I have all of these cool things in store. So yes, I'll be opening my store tomorrow. I have everything in stock, and so I'm just so excited, guys. And it's just a great new step in a cool direction that I'm taking. Just again, I'm looking over my notes. So if you guys, I write down everything because I have to be on point. So, yeah, so I'm so excited to talk to you guys about myths that you may have heard about sex workers, and I want to just clear the air. First and foremost, I cannot speak for everyone. I can only speak for myself and my experience. And so I honestly, I had my own perceptions. I had my own prejudgments before getting into the industry. And when I actually got into it, I realized like, wow, it is not what I thought or what many people may think it is. So I want to just clear some stuff up about it, clear the air a bit. And again, if you have any questions, you can definitely, I have my email. You can contact me if you don't want to leave a comment and you just want to keep it more personalized. And again, on my OnlyFans, where I'll be talking about more intimate details about my book. And if you wanted to engage that way, you can also do that as well and subscribe. So I have all the links to like my social media down below. So yes, let's get to it. So okay, I'm gonna look at my notes because I wrote this all down. I got this all ready for you guys, and I was like, okay, let me just. I feel like I was in school taking like writing it down, highlighting and things like that. So I have it all planned out. So, and also I'll put like stamps and stuff. I should remember to put like the stamps of like each of the myths. So I'm gonna give five. Yeah, so I have five of them that I want to touch on. So the first one was all sex workers are forced into the industry. And I am here to tell you, my friends, that that is not true. Now, that is not to say that there are, individuals who are forced in and trafficked and things like that. So, yes, those things do happen. However, a lot of people who get into the industry do it willingly and not by force, and for many different reasons. So everyone comes from a different walk of life. Everyone has a unique story. So everyone's reason is going to be different. But what it really comes down to is making money. It is one of those industries that produces quickly, more quickly than the 9 to 5 would, and it's just like easy cash. So a lot of people ultimately get into it for that, for the money, because I would imagine people wouldn't if the money wasn't great. So it's one of just those industries where you tap into where you can make a lot of money really quick, and if you're really good you can make a lot of money. So I've seen a lot of girls make crazy cash. It's ridiculous. Some are smart, some are not. We'll get into it. But yeah, so no, it's not true. And I also, another thing, and I'll also talk about myself because I don't want to make this a matter of fact type of thing. I also want to go based off my experience. So my experience is not everyone's experience. So yeah, so for me, it was just a matter of I need to pay my bills. So I don't know if you guys are following along, if this is the first video you're seeing of me, but if you kind of continue to just watch some of my videos, you'll see, hear about my story. But I was a former professional athlete. I went to school and things like that. So that was my life prior to any of like sex work. And then it was very challenging, financially to just have everything happen. I was taking care of myself. I was paying all my bills, and the expenses that also came with being an athlete was quite intense. And I'm not sure if people are familiar with the costs and expenses that come along with, in my field, being a track and field athlete. There's a lot of expenses, from paying for, where you train at, your coach, your coaches, rehab, having a doctor to make sure that you're healthy. Maybe you need some psychological work as well, so a therapist. It's not necessary, but when you are at that level, if you need it, you definitely should have that. Expenses from food, traveling, transportation, things like that. So it is very, very expensive. And so it was a mixture of that, and a whole mixture of my personal expenses and my personal life: rent, car, gas, all those things, food, all of those things. So it's like two lives and expenses all under one person. So it was very, very, very intense. So for me, right around COVID, because they had canceled the Olympics and everything like that, everything was pushed back. Everyone went through a hard time. So, I am no different than anyone else, just sharing my story. So yes, COVID really, really turned things around, and I ended up having to move. My back was against the wall. It was just super crazy, and I had to make a decision. So I just like did my research and things like that. Looked what I felt would be the route that I wanted to take, that I felt most comfortable with, and then that's just kind of how I got into it. So moving on. So yes, so myth one: all sex workers are forced into the industry. It's not true. Not everyone is in the industry by force. There are some people who willingly go into it and they know what they're getting into, or they do their due diligence to be prepared and ready, and they get into it. So yes, so that's the first one. So the second one is all sex workers are single. Now, that is not true. And I know it's crazy because some people may look at sex workers like, oh, they're disgusting, oh, they're nasty, whatever. And we'll get to that too. They are individuals, or sex workers are individuals that are incapable of loving other people, incapable of having families, incapable of having partners or spouses that support and understand them. I have met a few people who are actually in committed relationships, and like their partners were very supportive. Their partners understood, and simply they had an arrangement. They had an understanding of one another, and not everyone is accepting and understanding, so I understand that, but there are people out there who are very understanding, and it actually will blow your mind. Like, I have so many stories and it's crazy, but you would really be surprised how even people on the other end who are coming in for service, how many of them that may be married and they have spouses that encourage their partner to go. Let's say the wife doesn't want to perform a particular sexual act or whatever it is. Literally this has happened, where a woman gave her husband the okay to, whatever it is that he needed to do to get his satisfaction. She was okay with that. She was supportive. So honestly, it does happen. So yeah, like people are more open-minded than I thought, and that was another thing about getting into this industry. Like I was very closed off and closed-minded, and then I actually learned that there is a whole world out there of people who are into things and very open. It's a world out there. So yes, so all sex workers are not single. Some of them do come from really, really special, loving homes. They have supporters. They have supportive partners or spouses. It is not uncommon, But me personally, no, I was single, especially when I was in that action. I was definitely single. I've always, honestly, I never really had time to seriously commit in a relationship because prior to this world, I was training for the Olympics. So I was in school and I was like working on my master's. So like, honestly, I didn't really have time. I was too tired. Anytime I had free time, I was tired. So it was just like, I didn't really have the time to mingle. I do now. Anyway, so yeah, so all sex workers are single. That is not true. The third one. So the next one is sex workers don't use condoms or protection. Yeah. So now I'm going to have to clear the air because definitely I felt this way 100%. I thought this 200,000%. And I'm going to tell you, I've met some of the most health conscious individuals in this industry. I have never met, and this is no shade to anyone at all. But I've, in my regular everyday life, a lot of females in particular, or even guys, but I'm just talking about my experience with people that I've known. I've known females that like don't take care of themselves. They don't take the step to just precaution, to make sure that they're clean, that they're safe. Even if they're intimate with one person, just or not just one person, more. Not really taking the time to take care of themselves. And that was always scary to me. And honestly, when I always looked at girls in the sex industry, I always thought that they didn't take care of themselves either. And not saying that all of them like do take care of themselves, but it's just to say that there is a huge number of them that do. I was one of them. And I'm just looking at my notes because I did write it down, like a list of things. But like I remember every week I got tested. I always used protection. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you, and I know it's gonna sound crazy. Sometimes I made people wear gloves, especially because it was COVID. I know it sounds crazy, but nah, I was definitely, And then I got tested every week because I just wasn't playing that. So I always made sure I was clean. And where I worked at, actually, like, you had to be clean, So whenever, before you even had any encounter with the client, you check them, And I don't know if this is something I should talk on this platform. But I could talk about it a little bit more on my OnlyFans if you guys want to know. But there's a specific procedure that we did, that I did. So to just check and things that I did to make sure that it was good before I even took any money and things like that. And then, using protective measures. So yeah, and always getting tested and just looking out for my health, constantly visiting the doctors. I've met a lot of I've learned honestly how to even take my health consciousness to the next level, even being in this industry. Yes, of course, because of the risk that you're taking. But honestly, even in my regular life prior to that, yes, I was health conscious, but not at the level that I am at now, So that is another thing. Just looking at my notes. But yeah, so honestly, a lot of sex workers use condoms. A lot of them do protect themselves. So, I don't know if you're interested in hiring one or something. I don't know. But just being honest, being real, sharing my experience. So yes. So that was number 3. Number 4, sex workers give permission to treat them like objects. And to be honest, I don't like that. We're all, despite how you may view and your opinion on how you see something, we are all human beings and we all deserve to treat each other with love and respect. You don't gotta like anyone. You don't even gotta love on them. Just respect, and that's good enough. So that is not true, where we are not giving the permission to, treat us like, objects. No, there's an arrangement. There is it's a mutual exchange, in a sense. So this person is seeking this person's willing to provide it at this cost. This person agrees. This person agrees. Two competent parties are agreeing to something. So therefore, it is an arrangement. And so anything that goes outside of the ramifications is fair game to terminate the session or whatever it is that you guys plan to do, because now that person is breaking the contract, so yeah. And honestly, before you take anything from anyone and get into anything with anyone, or start anything with anyone, you want to make sure you're on the same page with the person. And honestly, there's a lot more that goes into it, like screening and knowing who the person is, vetting them. That is a whole nother thing. I'm not talking about that, but just as far as like the interaction and encounter with the person, like, yeah, you guys agree to something, both you guys are okay with it, and that's what it should be. Now, if someone wants to take it out of context, then that individual has every right, and it like to leave, and if it came to it, defend themselves, because things do get crazy real quick, like real quick. I mean, I'm pretty strong, so I can hold my own. But I'm being serious though, for real. Nah, like whatever it's agreed upon, that's what's agreed upon, and it doesn't give anyone the right to do anything outside of that. So yeah, so sex workers give permission to customers to treat them like objects. That is not the case. That is very false. Be nice. Be nice. And last but surely not least, we have, okay, this is actually a cool one. Sex is the only service that sex workers provide. Now, I know, of course, that's what it is. This is what we're in the, like, this is what being in an industry is about, what it's all about, right? Now, I'm going to tell you, and I won't get too deep and personal right now because that's not what this is about. But yeah, so honestly, and I'll give like some personal, like I'll share some of my personal experience, but it's not just only that. You'd be surprised, some people may be very wealthy, or they just have the means to afford a sex worker, and sometimes people need companionship. Sometimes you have sometimes very successful individuals who may not have a spouse, or just tough times at home. And any story can be different. Every situation is unique. But there are some people seeking companionship, and they want that. So it's like sometimes they're looking for a vacation buddy, someone to take out shopping, a shopping spree, have dinner with, go to the casinos and have fun, just spend time and have a good time. So like it can also be like that. I'm not saying that obviously sex is not on tape. I am not saying that. Of course, and maybe not. There are instances and cases where it's not, real talk. But I'm just also stating like the non-obvious, because people probably just think it's just that. People probably just think it's just, you just dive right in it. Like, no, like there's levels to this. There's like not rules, but there's levels to this. Let's just say that, So yeah, sometimes like someone needs like a business event. Someone has a business event, sorry, and they're looking for that plus one. Maybe they don't have a personal spouse, so they'll hire someone, and have fun. So, there's like party events, things like that. So in the sex work industry, it comes in all different shades. There's different lanes and avenues, so that was one thing that I started to realize and enjoy. Then you have like people that are in BDSM, and again, I'm personally not crazy about it, but even if people who are strictly in that lane, a lot of them don't even have intercourse. Like it has nothing to do with that. It's like something completely outside of that scope. So there are many other let's say services, or I'll just say services. There are just other things that people are into. I mean, one time someone wanted to arm wrestle, and they paid me money just to arm wrestle because they like how strong I am. They want to feel my muscles, and they went crazy, and it's like, all right, so it's just shedding light on all of the other things that come like with this. And it's not just the nitty gritty, or we're gonna have sex and that's it, and then you go home, and it can be like that, yes, but sometimes it's not just always like that, so I just wanted to make that known to you guys, And then I want to share, so yeah, that was number 5, because I'm going to be sharing 6 with you guys. So that was the 5th one, which was sex is the only service provided by sex workers. So yeah, so again, companionship, I mean, even sometimes like just light fun, cuddling, it's just other things that I've learned through my journey from other women, and I'm like, wow, so yeah. Right? So the last one, number 6, that I have for you guys is sex workers are uneducated. And I really, really, really want to shed light on this and challenge this one and just share something with you guys. I've met lawyers, like people in the health field, clinicians, people who do ordinary 9-to-5 jobs get in this industry. Maybe school loans. I know I got them, school loans. Law school is very expensive. When you're going to pursue your PhD and doctoral degree, it's very expensive. Debt, is put in, you're accruing a lot of debt. So some people, to find an easy way to get that debt cleared off, this is an outlet that some people choose, and it has nothing to do, with their education level. So like for myself, actually, Yeah, I actually said that. So like for myself, I'll just talk about about myself because I feel like that is the best way. I cannot speak for everyone. If any of you guys have ever experienced like dealing with a sex worker, I don't know that person. I don't know their experience. Everyone's experience is going to be different. I can just speak from what I know, what I've experienced, and who I am, and what I offer to the table. And so, honestly, I have my bachelor's degree and I have my master's, and I was also a former professional athlete training for the Olympics in the track and field. So, I was on that track and that road way, long way before I even decided, to get into this world. And I briefly shared early in the video why that was. It was just honestly the expenses that came along, not just with my personal life, but also with like track and field. It was not cheap. And I can name a list of what that was, but I'm just going to save you guys the headache. And also when COVID happened, so I didn't, yeah, so it was a lot of expenses. Like I'm telling you, once I paid all my bills and everything from on both ends, sometimes I didn't even have like enough money to get food or for gas. I just hated like the tight, like just like searching for pennies and things like that. I just hated it. Like, yeah, bills were paid, but once bills were paid, there was just like nothing left. And then COVID just happened to hit because right around the Olympics 2020, I was training for trials. I got invited to the Olympic trials, and the way that work is they take the top the number 24. So a few selected individuals or athletes are selected to like for the pre games, which is the Olympic trials, and then they take the top three, and that's who they take to the Olympic games. So in the year 2020, that was when the epidemic or the pandemic of COVID happened, and so a couple months before trials, that was when they started to shut down all training facilities and things like that. Like everything was canceled, as you know. So that really killed me, not only financially, but emotionally and mentally. And my back was really against the wall, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. I just felt like it was way too much. And I had to make a decision because it was like, are you just going to stay broke? What are you going to do? And at the time, like I was applying to jobs because, again, like I have credentials and I'm definitely qualified to do anything that I pretty much, want to apply myself. So even then with that, like it was hard to like find employment, obviously. And then eventually when the jobs came around, by that time I had already started doing my research, tapping to see like, okay, what is the sex industry like? What is the sex world like? Like I'm just gonna have to like see what's up. So I was doing all my research and stuff like that. And by the time the jobs were like coming back, I had already tasted like the money. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. So, yeah. And also, honestly, that experience really led me to writing my first book. That experience actually led me to figuring out that I like to write, and I'm truly an author, and I wear different hats as well, but that was like the birth, and that's why the origin of the birth of Treasure. That was the stage name I went by Treasure. So that's why in my like earlier videos, when you see them, I like treasure stuff, like all of that. That was my stage name. That was actually when I was, still in that world, like really, really like just. So I was just like really excited about my book and things like that. So yeah. But that was where the name Birth of Treasure came from. It was the start of something new. Very unconventional, non traditional, but sometimes it happens like that. But yes, guys, those are the 6 minutes that I have for you. I hope you learned something new. And again, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to ask. You can leave a comment, you can email. I'm very friendly. And again, yes, Surreal Beauty by Tiffany opening tomorrow. Just got to get everything all settled and straight, but I'm working on it. Have all my merchandise. Everything is ready to go. So I'm really excited. And I have the link below, www.sbbytiffany.com. Click on that, subscribe, like. And yes, any questions you may have, I know I'm repeating myself, feel free. And until next time, I'll see you guys soon.